Oh boy, this is gonna be fun to talk about.
Gotta get back to the past. Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack Season 5, Episode 8, Chapter 99. If you were already shipping Jashi, or against shipping Jashi, your enjoyment of this episode was probably already sealed from the get-go. That being said, I already expressed that I wanted Jashi to be a more parental relationship, like a father-daughter relationship, and not a boyfriend-girlfriend physical romantic relationship, and unfortunately, I got the latter. Some people are really happy they got the latter, and initially I did not like this episode. But once I separated my feelings towards Jashi and from the actual episode itself and its content provided, I will say this. It's a delightful episode. The art direction's still on point, it's still very creative with its action sequences, and it was very, very humorous. However, I just can't wrap my mind around Jashi, but I'll get to that in a sec. The plot of the episode was very straightforward, so as opposed to recapping it, I'm just going to summarize what I liked about the episode and what I didn't like about the episode. As I just mentioned, the humor. This episode was funny. Ashi and Jack trying out food, her asking, "Oh, you ate this before?" And he's like, "Well, I had something like it before." Jack's face turning into like a fish-type creature. It was different for Samurai Jack. That's really a different approach to humor than the show has had before. The show has always had a comedic aspect to it, but usually it was tongue-in-cheek. Rarely visual humor. However, I do feel like it may have dragged on for a few more seconds longer than it needed to. The scene where Jack and Ashi keep grabbing each other's hands and try to hold onto the pole was awkward. I did not like that, however, I did like and laugh when Jack pointed out how awkward it actually was. Instantly saved that joke for me. Now, some people may have liked that scene. They may have liked the romantic music playing and then stopping and then playing again. And it was a nice touch, it just didn't really hit with me. Ashi accidentally firing off a laser in the middle of Jack learning about the monster, again, was humorous. I loved that. The jokes that didn't land with me were basically, as I just said, all the instances of Jack being awkward because it was nothing more than just being awkward. I wasn't like, haha, it's funny because he's being awkward and he likes her. It was just like, oh yeah, this is just awkward. Every time one of those instances happened, I was just waiting for the scene to end and for the episode to move on. Ashi being naked though? It was pure fan service. Jack's reaction there was actually pretty funny. However, I don't understand how 2 episodes ago, Ashi goes all whoops when she realizes she's naked and gets her new nature outfit, which is already gone unless she makes a new one, which is a shame because I really liked it. But here she's like, wait, what's the big deal if I'm naked? One of those instances where a joke creates an inconsistency in character, but it was just that, a joke. It's really not that big of a deal. Jack also correcting Ashi and saying his robe is actually gi put a grin on my face too. I just really appreciated that line. It reminded me of something I would say. It was definitely a nerdy nitpick, so kudos to the writers for that too. Now for the actual Jack and Ashi kiss, the fake cut to black and then they just continued making out was pretty funny. But then once again, the scene dragged on for a few seconds too long and then it stopped being funny and I was like, alright, I'm about to turn off the TV. Now the action in this episode was again creative. The group of humanoid feline assassins with watermelon patterns and color schemes, having letters on their outfits that spelled stuff out, like Die Samurai Jack, followed by that quick action sequence, Ashi using the shards of glass to form shuriken, and the concept of Lazarus being this being, this organism, made of multiple organisms, while definitely not the most original thing, in fact it reminded me of the roach villain from Powerpuff Girls, was still handled pretty well, especially for a villain of the week type deal. But action has and always will be one of Samurai Jack's strong suits, so the praise here is nothing out of the ordinary. It didn't really blow me away, but you know you have something special when the action scenes grab you every single time. As I already mentioned, the art direction in this episode was great as usual, nothing out of the ordinary there either. However, if there's one thing that bugs me, is the fact that there's no longer a black outline around Jack's eyes. It wasn't that big of a deal when he had the beard, but now it's just somewhat jarring. Not enough to break my immersion, but I do miss the black outlines. Seeing the return to Jack's straw hat was also nice, and him and Ashi making straw hats was also a pretty nice touch too. It was definitely a treat for fans of the original 4 seasons. And now we can talk about the big, controversial, divisive factor of this episode, Jack and Ashi's romantic relationship. Because this entire episode was just building that up. That was the focus of this episode. The plot advancement was the advancement of their relationship. Now, here's why I'm not big on Jack and Ashi being romantically involved. One, on Jack's end, it just doesn't make any sense. It makes sense for Ashi. We know that she loves nature. we know that she adores the earth and all of its living creatures. Jack's sworn purpose is to protect all of that and defeat Aku. Jack's the one who showed Ashi the truth, who showed her all these amazing sights. So naturally, it makes sense that she would gradually fall in love with Jack the more she fell in love with the earth. What does Jack have? He's been on countless of adventures with countless of people, and yet he's never been smitten with any one of them. Besides maybe Ikra, but that was Aku in disguise. I don't see what Ashi brings to the table for Jack besides a nice body. And that's not to objectify Ashi. I'm just saying I legitimately don't see a reason why Jack would fall in love with her. That's where the relationship feels kind of contrived. Jack has always been inspiring people and changing lives. The fact that Ashi wants to learn more about the world and probably wants to defeat Aku just as much as Jack does, it makes sense that Jack would take her under her wing, and that's why I thought they would just follow a father-daughter relationship, a student-teacher, Obi-Wan Anakin type deal. Jack has not treated Ashi any differently from anyone he's helped before. So the fact that he has romantic feelings really is just really peculiar to me. It feels forced. And there's the fact that mentally, Jack is like in his mid-70s. Ashi is like, what, maybe in her 20s? It's really unclear. And you could argue age is nothing but a number, but I kind of dislike that they're not embracing the fact that Jack is mentally an old man. And how is this going to work in the long term? Assuming Jack and Ashi survive the series, if Jack goes back into the past, Ashi's going to get erased from existence. If there's an ending where Jack and Ashi both live, and Jack decides to stay in the future, eventually Ashi's going to die and Jack's still going to be alive. He's going to be immortal. And that's where the relationship does not make any sense to me. It's really bizarre execution, and the circumstances are just really bizarre. Now, if Jack starts aging after he defeats Aku, then maybe it'll make more sense, because then eventually he will die, and he could die around the same age Ashi passes away. I guess we just have to see where they're gonna go with it, but right now I'm still very on the fence about them. And I feel like they're just doing it to build the stakes in case Ashi does die. However, the exact same stakes could have been there if Ashi was more like a daughter to him and not a love interest. But people have pointed out, Samurai Jack was based off of Gendy's dreams he would have as a child, where he would travel this futuristic world, go to all these places with a fictional girlfriend, a girl that only existed in his dreams. So I can't say this wasn't foreseen. Overall, just a really weird episode. It definitely has its strong suits, but your enjoyment really will depend on the fact if you support Ashi and Jack as a romantic couple. If you don't, you may not enjoy this episode, because they really force it down your throat the entire episode. But as always, these are just my thoughts, and I need to hear yours for this episode. I need to hear everyone's thoughts. So please leave them in the comments down below. How did you feel about this episode? How do you feel about Jashi? And how do you feel about next week, because Jack is going to the Guardian's place, my boys? I'm pumped. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, it really helps us out. Follow us on social media, links to everything in the description down below. And if you're feeling generous, support us on Patreon. We're trying to get an office space and every dollar counts. A dollar can go a long way. Awestruck Fox, signing out. This video has been powered by Patreon. If you want to give us some more support, head to patreon.com/roundtablevids, become a patron, and get some awesome perks. Thanks for watching another video on the Roundtable. If you want to get more involved with our community and watch videos from Let's Talk with Tom, Voxbox, and more, click the video right here. Or if you want to get some more of the animation goodness, watch some Crystal Clear or Meaning Monday, click the video right here. And please, don't forget to subscribe.